It's my favorite ventilator. Okay, so do you want to start pre-use check?
Yes.
Which
Well,
yes.
are we
Hang
putting
on,
that
I
up?
did tell you when to do it.
Oh, okay.
Patient. So now it's running some internal tests.
Can I move this back a little? Oh.
Now we know, okay, connect
Connect
test
test
tube
tube.
between inspiratory and expiratory inlet. And be careful because he's just sliding in the end. This actually designed is transport that too. Okay. Say okay. Whoops, I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry. I was trying to look at it.
Oh, you just do like
And
that?
you make it closed circuit.
that's it?
Because if you listen, you're going to hear a bunch of solenoid valves opening and closing and gas shuffling through here. It's testing the internal valves and stuff.
Oh.
No.
Here?
Okay, yeah.
And that's what it's doing. If you ever open up one of these ventilators, all it is tubing, solenoid valves. That's it. Is that still calibrating the O2 sensor?
No, it's not.
That's been a challenging group over there, especially with the tubing plugged into the exhalation valve.
Just push cancel for this, right? Since we don't have
Yes.
Carolyn.
And it's going to
Oh,
say
good
it
one.
failed, we know it.
Yeah.
Now it's
Is that gonna
calibrating its flow transducers.
It's going to be filled on all of them?
No,
Just so too.
it's going to fail the battery too.
So when we see
Oh,
that,
okay.
we don't have to panic.
Because these are where the batteries are
failed.
going to go. You can load batteries up here. And the more batteries packs you put in there, the longer it runs without electricity.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Donna ordered the mannequin. And just say, okay. But we didn't get the warranty. We'll have to put in for that next year.
That's fine. I'm just talking with John about that. That's awesome.
Okay, please unplug power cord. It's a very polite ventilator. Don't go too far. Okay, please reinsert. What it's doing is it's testing its switchover from power to battery. Now what does it say?
So it's that stuff.
Take this out.
So we're going to take this off, connect patient circuit and block
So it kind of
wires.
tells you.
It tells you everything to do.
Once you figure out you have to have it too.
Yeah.
Well, we really don't want to be dragging our ventilator tubings on the floor though, do we? We'd have to be able to do any skill check-offs.
So we want to wait to take this out.
This
No,
really
you can
take
just
long?
put it on. And it's going real slow.
Rub it in.
Oh, you did. Okay, so it says block your Y. So get a nice tight seal. The freshy part of your hand there. You're going to include
Like on
this
top.
like that.
Yeah.
Someone, hey, okay. Now it's actually going to calculate your tubing compliance for your circuit and check for a leak in your system, your circuit. Okay, and it just takes forever. The idea is longer.
Yes. I'm guessing.
Is that still counting?
Okay.
Is it done?
I guess okay.
Yep.
Did we say no?
Should be more than a couple of minutes.
Okay. Now we can do whatever we want. So what setting do we want to look at?
All right. So let's go
setting?
to
The walls.
It passed?
volume control.
Right.
So let's use volume control.
All right.
And then
You
here's
just
your.
click here.
This is your settings.
Mm-hmm.
So you just hit that.
If you want to change stuff, and I think down here you can change it as well.
Okay. So
But if you
you
want
can change it here.
Mhm.
So if there's title
Just click on it.
volume.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it just goes like that.
Yep.
Okay. And you hit it again.
Now, one thing you're going to want to do during your checkoffs is you're going to treat that test lug like your patient. So you don't put a non-functioning ventilator on a patient.
5'9".
So you'll wait till you get everything set, then you'll hook it up.
So if we accept this,
Just take out your pause.
alarms. Okay. So that's the lower and the higher. So pressure would be 40.
Well, we got to look at the pressure first, right?
We have to know the
Yeah,
pressure.
wait a couple of minutes, let it cycle for a couple of minutes before you set
Okay.
your alarms.
So you hit the start.
Oh, you hit that to
And that's
start
how you start it.
Power button to start.
Go ahead, hit, are you doing SIMV or
Volume control
volume
right
control?
now.
Okay.
Now, when we do our checkouts, will we have like a choice of the volume control?
We'll give you the number.
I'm not trying to get you.
Zero, right?
Yeah. This
So you have to
machine,
T-pause to 0 on
yeah,
that?
this machine automatically, I don't know why, it's just the fact it's made sweet, it's special.
I don't understand what T-pause is, anyways.
It's your inspiratory pause, like to
isn't
do
there-
your plateau pressures.
Oh, okay. Isn't there another
breath
button
hold?
for?
You can do breath
iPod?
hold,
Down here?
but this one will automatically default to like a 0.4 seconds. T-pause.
What's T inspiratory rise then?
That's how fast the gas is being delivered. It's your rise time, and just leave it at 15,
Always at just leave it at 15.
pretty much. Unless you have a patient that's just really air hungry.
Okay.
And then the 0.9, right?
Let it cycle for a few minutes, and then go ahead and get in and set your alarms. Because they'll fluctuate a
I forgot
little
what it's
bit.
called.
What was it? The T-I...
Inspiratory time,
Uh-huh.
0.9.
It's always
It'll
0.9.
default to 0.9, but
So don't
remember
change
that.
this at all. Just you would just put that to 0,
Mhm.
right? I
Yep,
don't want to
this
get
is your
confused.
flow trigger here. So if you want a flow trigger.
Would that be
So
a -2? For
No, that's
pressure?
if you pressure trigger. Most of the time you're going to flow trigger.
At 5 or 2 though?
Positive 2?
2 to 5 is normal,
Okay.
depending on your patient. Very few people use pressure trigger anymore. Theoretically, flow trigger is much more responsive to the patient's needs. So your tidal volume, your rate, your PEEP, your FiO2. This is your eye time. This is that, in your book we talked about example 2.
Right.
That's calculating your eye time.
Okay.
And this is your flow trigger. And if you go into SIMV, then you would have your pressure support and everything. Okay. Now you can probably just go ahead and get your alarm set in there.
And that's here on this
And,
one.
Now this one you're not going to have all the alarms you're going to have on other ventilators. You don't have a low pressure with this machine. So your
And the 15 above or below.
so your disconnects on this machine actually is your low minute volume and your low PEEP. And expiratory pressure is the same as PEEP in this machine.
Okay.
So those two are your disconnects. It just has to be a little special. And you go over to the Avia, it's got alarms for everything.
Okay, so alarm for pressure is going to be about 18 or 18.
Your peak pressure is 8.
Okay. So for minute volume,
So what's our minute volume there?
6.9.
Okay, so I would go leader down and leader up.
Okay.
Now this is something you're going to have to adjust, like if your patient wakes up and starts breathing, because that's going to get added into the minute volume. So your minute volume alarm will go, your high minute volume alarm will go off.
So 7.5 is fine, or should I go to 8 if it's 6.9?
I'd probably go to 8.
Okay, it's not going to be a big deal. So respiratory is 15.
Now your book
That's good.
for respiratory rates says go 10 above what they're currently breathing. And remember when I told you I test, I will always test you on what your book says. In reality, most people set their high at 30. If a patient breathes more than 30 times a minute, you're going to want to know why. Are they in pain? Are they have fever? Or, they have secretions, bronchospasms going on for some reason.
And your PEEP can be low at 2 or should it be at 5?
What's your PEEP at?
It's at 5 right now.
I'd probably put it at 3.
And then this like 8.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then that looks good, right?
Accept them and we'll see. We'll let it cycle and see if it alarms. One thing about this machine I like is it has really clear graphics. The bottom one is your volume, the middle one is your flow, and the top is your pressure. And the one good thing about this machine is it adjusts the scale of the graphics based on what your readings are.
Cool.
I love this machine.
Not bad. If you want
this
to
is-
change it
this
from
is
here,
pretty
you
cool.
can.
Simple as like
Yeah, you can go pressure
think so.
control. You can.
Yeah.
this isn't assist control at all.
If you
Instead
need
of
to
like
go up
going
or
back
down.
to like the
Volume
main.
control is another name for it, says control.
Yes.
Because you're controlling the volume. These are all the modes you can do.
So Bivent is APRV, right? Okay.
But
Wanted
you
to
want us
clarify that.
in SIMV volume control with
Yep.
pressure support,
Okay,
right?
and then notice how this is your pressure control knob here. And notice it says pressure support above peak. So when you look at your peak pressure, say I'm on 10 of pressure support and I'm on 5 of peak, my peak pressures for a spontaneous breath
It's
should
15.
be 15. There you go. That's why it says above.
That's not what you did in class, I think, right?
That's why it says above.
Well, now it's going to be 20 if she goes to 15.
Yeah.
Yep,
So it'll be
sure is.
20. Oh yeah, leave it at 15.
Or leave
Now
it
it'll
10?
be 20.
And what do you kind of, what's
Oops.
something you'll use to look to see if you have enough pressure support or too much?
You do an inspiratory and expiratory hold, right?
No. You look at your exhale tidal volumes.
Oh, that's
Pressure
right.
support is the same
Which would
as your
be
IPAP
here,
on
right?
your BiPAP.
Your exhaled is here.
And looking
Your
at like their
BTE.
CO2 monitoring
Yep.
as well,
yep.
right?
But the main thing you're going to
Which
look
is your
at for pressure
inhale.
support is your end tidal CO2. Because kind of work out that 5 to 8 ml per kilogram of range, and you'll use that to adjust your pressure support. That's why first thing I always do when I get a chance, I mean, if it's an emergency situation, you're not going to have time to sit there and figure everything out. You're just
Exactly,
gonna
yeah.
put them on rate 12,
As long as you know the
tidal volume,
ranges.
such and such, 100%. Then you sit down and figure out,
Mm-hmm.
you know, what is my ideal body weight, what is my minute volume, and stuff like that.
And assess the patient, how they're doing on it.
Well, I'll assess them before I sit down and do all that stuff. Because as soon as you put them on the ventilator, you know, start assessing. Usually about 20 minutes to a half hour after being on the vent, you'll get more gas.
Gotcha. So
But sometimes it's kind of assumed it's the responsibility of the admitting therapist to that unit. You'll calculate the BSA and all that stuff and put it on the Cardex. It's kind of considered, it's a, you know, you're the person that'll do it.
So when we are on this ventilator,
You'll be so lucky.
see ya.
we'll go through, we'll get like all of these modes.
Nope, we'll just give you, I think your skill checkoff says volume SIV is the mode you're going to use.
Okay.
Now, if the patient's breathing fine and I'm weaning them off, and I want to just have them do all the spontaneous breathing on their own, I'll hit pressure support. And my CPAP, so I have my pressure support, I have my CPAP, my FiO2, and my trigger. And, you know, that's how I put them in pressure support CPAP. Which sometimes you hear people refer to as just spontaneous.
Sweet.
Sweet. It's a great
That's
great
it.
ventilator. I love this ventilator. But the last thing you want to lose on this ventilator is
The
this.
test tube.
This thing, believe it or not, it's a couple $100.
So
Because
those are the
it's so
same, right?
thick. Yeah, it's always universally accepted. It's on top cover.
You said it's $100?
A couple hundred.
A couple hundred?
Yeah, it's real thick.
All right.
It's like pulmonary function.
You guys good?
Yeah.